Hello, my name is Reuben Roth. I'm a faculty member at Laurentian University. I teach in the Workplace and Labor Studies program. I've been at Laurentian University for 16 years. Before that, I was a sessional at Trent for another 5. And here's my story. Despite the fact that COVID had been with us for 1 year, on the night of January 31st, 2021, I went to bed secure and comforted in the idea that I had achieved a place in life, a kind of nirvana, bliss, and a sense of security. I was coddled and wrapped and privileged. I knew that I was privileged, even though our faculty association, my union, had been in negotiation since about March of the previous year, and our collective agreement had expired the July before that January night of January 31st, 2021. I knew I would be just fine because I was a tenured university faculty member with 16 years of seniority, a stable academic program with students I felt close to, a supportive dean, and an administration that was floating, somewhere up there, but generally left me alone. And that was January 31st when I went to bed. And then February 1st happened. And that's when all hell broke loose. That's when I was told that my university, my employer, was the first employer, the first university ever in Canadian history, to file for insolvency protection, which is like Chapter 11 in the US. That's when I found out I no longer worked for a university. I worked for a corporation. You see, you have to be a corporation to be admitted into the CCAA club. What's that, you say? What's the CCAA? Well, it's the Companies Creditors Arrangements Act. And it's a piece of federal law that allows my employer, Laurentian University, to shred my collective agreement, to shred my job security. The CCAA allows my employer to stab my collective agreement in the heart. The CCAA shreds my collective agreement, the document that I look to for job security, for promotion, for progress through the ranks, for sabbatical, and all of the things that tell me that I am a university professor who is engaged in research and teaching, and I'm important to the lives of my students. My employer, Laurentian University, had other plans. They told everyone who could listen in Sudbury and across Canada, and frankly, around the world, that they, Laurentian University, were in trouble because I was overpaid. Because there were too many like me working at Laurentian University, too many faculty, too high a paycheck, and too many unpopular programs. Yes, they use the term unpopular programs. I teach in one of those unpopular programs. I teach in the Workplace and Labor Studies program. And I knew that my employers were never keen on the existence of my program. I knew this because they told me so. They told me so for the better part of 16 years. I've been told that my program doesn't have enough students, but that might just be because my university, my employer, never offered any support to my program. They removed us from the floor of the university fair at the Metro Convention Center. They wouldn't allow us to go into high schools to tell local students in Sudbury about the importance of work and labor in their lives, no matter what program and what job they decided to go into, no matter what major or what university or college they decided to go to. Do you want to be a biologist? Then the study of work and labor is important to you. Do you want to be a mathematician? Maybe a computer engineer? Then the study of work and labor is important to you. Do you want to be an English or history major? Then the study of work and labor is important to you. Because no matter what your program of study is, no matter what your major is, you're going to have to go out into the marketplace and find a job. And when you do that, when you achieve your dream and graduate from university and are hired by an employer and you achieve nirvana and you find work, You're suddenly transformed from a student, from a graduate, into an employee. On February 1st, 2021, my colleagues discovered that what I'd been preaching for over 16 years is true, that we're all employees. On January 31st, I went to bed absolutely secure in the knowledge that I had a secure job, that in the entire history of the country, a university professor in Canada had never been part of a mass termination. On February 1st, I discovered that what I'd been preaching for years was true. I'm just an employee. I'd gotten into trouble for saying that. I've been told, oh, you have 3 degrees and you're a doctor. You have nothing. You're not a member of the working class. You're not just an employee. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. My students would tell me that. My colleagues would tell me that. I disagreed with them, but I was still secure in the fact that I was not just a mine worker or an auto worker or a construction laborer, but that I'm a working professor and I conduct research and I am valued to my employer. On February 1st, I discovered that I can just be an employee, a terminated employee, just like everyone else who had been fired by the Companies Creditors Arrangements Act. Fired without severance, fired without benefits, fired and straight out onto employment insurance. Watch out. That's my message to you. Watch out. They're coming for you next. Do not go to sleep tonight secure in the fact that you're a tenured university professor. It doesn't mean a thing in the face of the Companies Creditors Arrangements Act. And this is all taking place while the provincial government stands by silently and says nothing and does nothing. This is all taking place while the federal government stands by silently and does nothing and says nothing. 116 of my 345 colleagues have been thrown to the street without any severance pay, without any benefits. We're going straight to employment insurance, just like a mine worker, just like an auto worker, just like a store clerk. At the end of the day, we're no different than any other employee. I have a doctorate hanging in my office, just like the rest of you. I have research projects and contracts and publications and students. But at the end of the day, I'm just an employee. And my employer fired me and 115 of my colleagues on February 1st, 2021. And that can be you. Thank you.